You know that moment when someone asks how you're doing, and before they even finish the question, you're already smiling, already saying, "I'm fine," but inside, there's this whole storm raging that nobody can see. What if I told you that every single time you say those two words while your heart is breaking, there's an actual sound to that pain, a frequency, a vibration, a silent scream that your body is producing, but your ears will never catch? And today, we're going to explore what would happen if suddenly, miraculously, you could hear it. If every hidden anxiety, every suppressed heartbreak, every swallowed sob had its own unique sound that only you could detect. But before we dive into this journey, if you've ever said "I'm fine" when you absolutely weren't, hit that like button right now, because this video is for you. And subscribe, because we're exploring the hidden battles of the human mind that nobody talks about, but everyone experiences. So imagine waking up tomorrow with this bizarre new ability. You can hear the emotional pain you're hiding. Not the pain you show the world, but the stuff you bury deep down in that mental vault you've been adding to since childhood. You'd hear this low hum, almost like a refrigerator running in the background. Except it's the sound of your anticipatory anxiety about the day ahead. It's been there every morning for years, but you've gotten so good at ignoring it that you stopped noticing it was even playing. Then you'd check your phone, scroll through social media, and with each swipe, you'd hear these tiny cracks, like ice breaking on a frozen lake. Because that's what comparison does to your self-worth. It fractures it, piece by piece, post by post. You'd get ready for work or school, and as you look in the mirror, you might hear something that sounds like static or white noise. And you'd realize that's the sound of self-criticism. The running commentary in your head that picks apart everything from your appearance to your life choices. And it's been so constant that it's become your baseline, your normal. Here's where it gets really interesting though, and kind of terrifying if we're being honest. You'd go about your day interacting with people, and every single time someone asks, "How are you?" you'd brace yourself because you know what's coming. You'd open your mouth, flash that practiced smile, say those magic words, "I'm fine," and suddenly you'd hear it, this deep, resonating gong, like a church bell made of lead, vibrating through your chest. That's loneliness. Or maybe it's a high-pitched whistle, the kind that makes your teeth hurt, and that would be your anxiety pretending to be confidence. Some days, it might sound like glass shattering in slow motion, and you'd recognize that as the sound of your heart protecting itself by not letting anyone too close. The wild part is that you wouldn't just hear it once. You'd hear it every single time. At coffee, with friends, when they're laughing about something and you're forcing yourself to join in, even though you feel disconnected. During family dinners, when everyone assumes you're doing great, because you got that promotion or posted that happy photo. But inside, you're drowning in imposter syndrome. In bed at night, when your partner is sleeping peacefully beside you, and you're staring at the ceiling, wondering why you feel so alone, despite not being physically alone at all. And funny enough, you'd probably start to learn your own personal pain playlist, like Spotify, but for suffering, which honestly sounds like the worst premium subscription ever. Am I right? But here's what would actually happen if you could hear all of this. At first, and I mean in those initial days or weeks, you'd probably lose your mind a little bit. The sheer volume of hidden pain you've been carrying would be overwhelming. You'd realize that you're not just occasionally struggling, you're constantly managing an entire ecosystem of hurt, disappointment, fear, and sadness that you've become an expert at muting. Still playing like a song stuck on repeat in a distant room of your mind. You'd catch the melody of childhood wounds, those moments when you learned that your emotions were too much, too inconvenient, too messy for others to handle. So you started the lifelong practice of compression, making yourself smaller, quieter, more palatable. You'd detect the rhythm of every time you chose peace over honesty, every moment you laughed off something that actually hurt you, every relationship where you performed a version of yourself instead of being yourself, because being yourself felt too risky, too vulnerable, too real. But then, something remarkable would start to happen, and this is where our story takes a turn. Once you got past the initial shock, once you stopped trying to silence these sounds and instead started actually listening to them, you'd begin to understand something profound about yourself. Each sound would become information, that gong of loneliness. It would teach you that you're craving genuine connection, not just social interaction. The shattering glass of self-protection. It would show you exactly which walls you've built and why you've built them. The static of self-criticism. You'd finally hear how cruel you've been to yourself, how you'd never speak to another human being the way you speak to yourself in your own head. And here's the twist that changes everything. You'd start to realize that other people have their own sounds too. You just can't hear theirs the way you hear yours. That colleague who seems to have it all together, she's got her own frequency of pain. Your friend who's always the life of the party, there's a sound there too, probably something that sounds like drums, drowning out silence, because silence is where his demons live. Your parent who never asks for help, that centuries of generational trauma humming at a frequency so low it's felt more than heard. Everyone you pass on the street, serve coffee to, sit next to on the bus, everyone is walking around with their own hidden soundtrack of suffering, and they're all saying, "I'm fine," while their inner worlds sound like a symphony written in a minor key. This realization would crack you open in the best possible way, because suddenly you'd understand that the performance of being fine isn't just your thing. It's a collective human experience. We're all doing it. We're all hiding. We're all terrified of being too much or not enough. We're all carrying pain we think we have to carry alone. And maybe, just maybe, if you could hear your own pain, you'd finally give yourself permission to stop performing, to stop pretending, to stop saying, "I'm fine," when you're absolutely not fine. And that permission would be the most liberating thing you've ever experienced. But let's get practical for a second, because you might be thinking, okay, cool concept, but I can't actually hear my hidden pain. So, what's the point? And that's fair, except, here's the thing, you've just been trained to ignore it. Your body has been screaming at you for years through tension in your shoulders, through that knot in your stomach, through insomnia, through stress eating or stress starving, through panic attacks and unexplained illnesses and chronic fatigue. That's the sound. It's not auditory, but it's absolutely there. Your emotions have been trying to get your attention through irritability, through numbness, through those moments when you suddenly cry for no reason you can name, through relationship patterns that keep repeating, through self-sabotage that seems to have a mind of its own. That's the frequency. Your mind has been signaling you through intrusive thoughts, through catastrophic thinking, through the inability to be present, through addiction to distraction, through the compulsive need to stay busy so you never have to sit with yourself. Those are the vibrations of unacknowledged pain. The question isn't whether you can hear it. It's whether you're willing to finally stop, turn down all the external noise, and actually listen. And I know what you're thinking now. What's the third act here? What's the resolution to this heavy realization that we're all walking around carrying invisible pain while pretending we're fine? Here it is, and it's simpler than you might expect. The resolution is witnessing. It's the act of acknowledging what's true instead of what's convenient. It's looking at your own pain with the same compassion you'd offer to a scared child or a struggling friend. It's understanding that healing doesn't mean the pain goes silent. It means you develop a different relationship with the sound. You learn to hear it without letting it consume you. You learn that feeling your feelings won't actually kill you, even though your nervous system has been convinced it will since you were young. You learn that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the only real path to authentic connection. And most importantly, you learn that you're not alone in this. So the next time someone asks how you're doing, and you feel that automatic "I'm fine" rising up, maybe you pause. Maybe you take a breath and listen to what's actually true in that moment. Maybe you don't have to perform anymore. Maybe you say honestly, "I'm struggling a bit today," or "I'm working through some stuff," or even just "I'm here." And that's enough for now. Because here's what I want you to remember. as we close this out. The pain you hide doesn't disappear just because you refuse to hear it. It accumulates. It compounds. It finds other ways to express itself, usually in ways that are more destructive than if you just acknowledged it in the first place. But when you finally stop and listen, when you create space for your own experience to be real and valid, something extraordinary happens. The volume doesn't necessarily get quieter, but it becomes bearable because you're no longer fighting it. You're no longer alone with it. You're finally, truly in relationship with yourself. And that's when healing begins. Not when the pain stops, but when you stop abandoning yourself in the presence of your own pain. So wherever you are right now, whatever hidden battle you're fighting while telling the world you're fine, I want you to know that I see you. Your pain matters. Your struggle is valid. And you don't have to carry it alone while pretending it doesn't exist. If this resonated with you, if you felt seen or understood, leave a comment below, sharing one thing you wish people knew about what you're really feeling behind your "I'm fine." Let's create a space where we can all stop performing for a minute. And don't forget to subscribe, because we're building a community that refuses to accept superficial answers to deep questions, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, it's okay to not be fine.